Take two. Let's take a look at some Pokemon leaks and rumors and speculation about Pokemon wins and waves. Let's get started with the first thing, which is going to be this post right here, shared to us by none else than Central Leaks. Now, what is it talking about? Well, ladies and gentlemen, it turns out that apparently, again, this is just from some of the leaks and stuff we've seen. But apparently, Pokemon Winds and Waves were among the first games to formally start development for the Switch 2. Every game gets assigned a product code from which we can deduct the order. For example, Mario Kart World was the very first one, right? And as of right now, Winds and Waves are 7th in that list. So in the order of games that got started on their development on this console, Mario Kart World was number 1, Kirby Air Riders was number 2, DK Bonanza was number 3. All of those games, I think, run pretty well on the console, so there's no issues there. Then we're missing what the 4th one is. Mario Tennis, I guess we don't need to look at the other codes. I guess they're not used at all. Mario Tennis was 4th. Street Fighter was, Fighter 6 was, well, I guess 5th. It would have been funny if it was 6th. Nintendo GameCube, Nintendo Classic. So those are the Nintendo GameCube, like Nintendo Switch Online thingies. The emulated stuff. That was number, let me see. That's number 6. Winds and Waves were the 7th games to be added to that. And I like how they have 2 different codes for Winds and Waves as 2 separate games when they're really just the same game. And then Drag X Drive was number 8. Interestingly. So yeah, interesting to know, just some cool details, because it does add some context to how early in development these things have been and how connected they have been to the Switch 2, which, by the way, if you do not realize, they are going to be exclusive to the Switch 2. You're not going to be getting a Switch 1 version of these games whatsoever, just an FYI. But for Nintendo Switch 1, the very first games to start development were AAAAA, The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, and then Super Smash Bros. Ultimate and Super Mario Odyssey. As people are interested in this, here's a complete list without the empty spaces. As you can see, that is what it looks like. Pokopia is actually here on here too, which is pretty interesting, pretty recent as well. Must have started development around a similar time as Winds and Waves, which we know would have been like 2023. Went into development for Switch 2, maybe, something like that, which, again, really cool details. We don't have the years, apparently, but from the Terra League, we do know that the planning of Winds and Waves begun in 2021. So the game, by the time it comes out next year, would have been the longest in development Pokemon game of all time, right? Longest in development of all time Pokemon game when it comes out in 2027, which is kind of crazy, because that gives them, like, what? If they started in 2021, like, planning the game, that's still part of, like, it's not full-on developing it and actually making it, but it will have given them at least 6 or so years to actually work on this game, which is kind of crazy. It's like the longest time we've had for a Pokemon game in terms of development time. But moving on, some actually interesting details coming from a few different people, actually. So I'm just going to share all of the people who found and noticed this. But apparently, listings for Pokemon Winds and Waves are already available on the Nintendo website and in the upcoming releases section of the Nintendo eShop, which is really interesting. So yeah, apparently they're already on the eShop, like visible as like products, which, mind you, is not like super crazy, but it is also a little surprising, to say the least. Like it's not like, wow, oh my lord, this is the best, that means the game's gonna come out tomorrow. No, but it is a little surprising. It's a little surprising. The Wind and Waves are started appearing in the Brazilian eShop too. We don't have the price or anything like that yet, but it's already possible to search the game through the shop and add it to your wish list, which, again, I mean, maybe it's something they're just trying to do more nowadays, because I remember on the Switch 1, it wasn't as common, but it is interesting. Also, I guess a lot of people are happy they're going to be getting Portuguese Brazilian, as a translation form of the game, is like, added to the game, so you can play it in that as well. The rest of us Euro pores are never going to get that. We're never going to get like all our languages. There's not going to be any Swedish, Bosnian, or any of that. No, none of them. We're going to be stuck playing in English. But nonetheless, though, it is surprising, though, which makes me still wonder. The big thing about the release date of this game is, like, is it going to be at the early 2027 or late 2027? Personally, I still think it's going to be late 2027, to be real with you. And I know a lot of people are saying, like, oh, that's a good thing because more time to develop it. And that's fine. I agree with that. But I wonder, why the game wouldn't be coming out this year, what caused that to happen. Probably some sort of massive delay that took place, but nonetheless, though, it still is very, very, surprising. So I wonder if that extra time they needed is for that reason, or if they delayed it till 2027, maybe for some other arbitrary reason, maybe not like an actual, like, oh, we need more time to develop it, but for some other reason to just match up with some other things. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see. But nonetheless, though, the fact that they're already on there is kind of interesting. Also, there has been a few rumors about apparently Nintendo Direct. Like, this is not the only post from Game Rant. I think they're just talking about, like, I think the Super Mario Galaxy movie thing. But, you know, that's already happened. However, there has been rumors. I have seen already rumors for a potential another Direct coming out very soon, which also would make sense because we have needed a new Nintendo Direct to happen for a while now, and I have seen a lot of talks about another one coming up. So here, upcoming first-party Switch 2 games likely to be featured in the next Nintendo Direct. Fire Emblem, Rhythm Heaven Groove, Splatoon Raiders, Yoshi and the Mystery Book. Some of these we know are real and are happening, but yeah. Again, there has been some rumors about a Nintendo Direct Switch 2 one happening because they do need one because we literally have nothing right now in terms of Pokemon games, in terms of Nintendo games as a whole to really look forward to as just in general, right? There's just frankly nothing, like just genuinely nothing to really expect, to look forward to really be hyped for, and also they need another game. They need to announce some kind of game for Nintendo specifically for the next quarter, right? Like there's a specific quarter that's, like they need to know what's gonna happen for like the end of year quarter and just all of that. And right now there's nothing in the woodworks that we know about. So a Nintendo Direct probably could be still happening in March, right? Like they can always drop one just when you least expect it or when you're just not seeing it coming. But yeah. Honestly, right now, we're in the second week of March. There is no Nintendo Direct that's been announced, but we could always get one next week. We can get one the week after that. It's really still possible March might be the month for another Nintendo Direct, but we'll have to wait and see. Also, some interesting details. Nintendo has released an animation of a concept involving the positioning of the game chat in Nintendo Switch 2's interface during the development phase. So yes, there's a lot of like this kind of data that's coming out now about it. Of course, I haven't really used that feature myself, but there you go. Also, this is a bit of a big one, but Nintendo, Creatures, and Game Freak have registered their trademarks in Japan on the 26th of February, and they registered trademarks for, of course, Winds and Waves, of course, I guess the names of the starters, except here they are not in English, they are in Japanese, naturally, Habrow, Pumpkin, and Miori, so that is, Ralts, Pombon, and Gekwa, all getting their, thingies sorted out. Also, if you guys didn't see, 2.2 million copies of Pokopia have been sold, which means it is the fastest selling Pokemon spin-off in history, doing better than Mystery Dungeon and really anything else. I think Stadium is the only game that sold more. I think the first Stadium game sold about 5.4 million copies, which is kind of nuts. Also, we have some new trademarks coming out for from Nintendo and Creatures and Game Freak, and this time it's from Aura Seeker, and it surely could be the future TCG collection, which is possible that this could be, and it actually would make sense, right, to have like another set for the TCG. In this case, maybe another mega set kind of thing. Somebody down here actually says it sounds like a Lucario expansion, which again would also make sense given the fact that, I mean, listen, he's got megas. He's got a new mega too, so they do have to make cards to match up with that as well. So again, it looks like another set's coming out, at least as far as we can tell. Also, though, it seems the Pokemon Company Limited is recruiting individuals with PhDs in science and engineering or agriculture sciences, experience in research related to ecology and animals and plants, if possible, proficiency in Japanese and English. For more details, go here. So yeah, they're hiring somebody specifically someone who understands biology, which is like somebody for that like specific reason, which is really funny because if you think about it, it kind of makes sense. They want to have somebody who understands biology well and environments and stuff. And I don't know if they're going to necessarily need somebody like this to be used for Winds and Waves, because Winds and Waves I think are so far in development that unless they're coming out late next year, they should be far enough done now that making drastic changes or adding drastic extra details and stuff maybe isn't that likely, unless they aren't that deep into development. And then yes, then there's a high chance they will still be adding a bunch of details like this. But it's cool to see they're hiring actual people who understand these things, the ecology of animals and plants and really everything, right? To be able to add more details, add more life into these Pokemon and make them a bit more realistic to the real world. So again, pretty cool. The fact that they're requiring somebody with a PhD in this stuff is kind of crazy. So yeah, I don't know. Just thought it'd be fun to add that little detail. Also, this is a pretty big one, but if you guys do not know, Pokemon Champions is coming out in April, so we're not very far from it. We don't know the exact release date of it in April, but we know that it is coming. However, there is some details about potentially if you are going going to be playing it, that some players of Pokemon Champions will be able to, players, not some players, all players, I think, can claim a Dragonite from their in-game mailbox by the 31st of August 2026. A Dragonite Megastone, which allows Dragonite to Mega Evolve, is going to be available through the first season's Battle Pass. So yes, I don't know about that, man. I mean, I hope that's the free Battle Pass where you get it for free. Otherwise, it'd be a little bit weird. But yeah, both the Pokemon and the Megastone may be obtainable through other methods or later in the shop. Gifted Pokemon and Champions cannot be deposited into Pokemon Home, which we do know. So yeah, it's a little bit odd. I do want to know in the comment section how you guys feel about Pokemon Champions. Like, what are your thoughts on it? Because personally, I'm a little iffy about it, to be real with you. I don't know really how to feel about it, but we'll see how anything interesting comes out of it. And also, speaking of Pokemon Champions, we do have some interesting details about it in terms of some changes that they're doing, right? So because of the new formula used in Champions, any changes you make to the Pokemon stats, natures, moves, etc. won't be preserved if you move the Pokemon back to Gen 10 or any other main series game. Though if you later move it back to Champions, the changes will still be there. Now, here's the new stat formula used in Pokemon Champions. EVs are gone. As you can see, B, base stat, L, level, IV fixed at 31, SP, the stat points in that stat, N equals the nature multiplier, so 1.1, 1.0, 0.9 for non-HP stats, HP, so HP equals, and then it's a literal equation here. So 2 base stats plus 31, I guess times the level divided by 100, and then plus the level plus 10, which that 10, I don't know what that 10 derives from, but, and then SP, so I guess that's the stat points, not to the power of, but of the HP, and then the other stats are stat equal. Dude, you actually have to do math for this shit. Which I'm not going to get too deep into it, but that's the new formula they're using for Champions, by the way. Since for Champion now, they are going to be using a new stat system, right, where Pokemon always are going to be level 50 with 31 IVs, up to 32 stat points or SPs in any stat, 66 in total. To convert to old EV system, 1 SP equals 8 EVs. So yes, for comparison purposes, if we think in terms of old EV system, Pokemon can have up to 256 EVs in any stat and 528 EVs total, which is okay. I mean, hey, listen, from a competitive standpoint, I'm very curious to see how people are going to be like adapting to this and how this is going to change things up. Very curious, but I'm not going to really add much else to that because I don't know if I can really say much that you guys may not already know or say much that's going to add like, extra pizzazz to this information that you guys really need. But we do have also this, if you guys haven't noticed, for Pokopia, which is new island. Yes, there's a new code, a new virtual, new island you can go to. It's the island code is QBRK7FVM. So if you guys want to go to the island, check it out. You can use your camera to take pictures of stuff. I think isn't that Bill? Looks like Bill from Pokemon, right? Like Bill created a PC. But you can go around the map, and if there's any items you don't already have, you can actually take pictures of them and then use Pokémedals in the Pokemon centers to copy the items and create them yourself. So really awesome that is, that they keep making these islands you can go and check out, these tour islands that are being made by the developers themselves oftentimes. There's actually 2 different ones I think you can go to, but then this is a new one you can go to and check out if you haven't already. Make sure you do, because I think it's worthwhile. And then I want to quickly just talk about something that I found really interesting, and it was from none else than our boy Soul Silver. Who's going to jump over here to his post, because he had a whole theory as well about the new mechanic in Pokemon Winds and Waves. So he's not confirmed, since part of the Waves icon isn't part of the gimmick icon, but it's a great theory. Now, I've been wanting to point out that yes, Winds and Waves have their own logo, similar to Scarlet and Violet's Naranja and Uva Academy. The logos are seen on the protagonist and the Chews, so the Pikachus, right? It remains to be seen if the Resort and the Chews will be version exclusives like the Pro Tags, or if they will exist in both versions. It also remains to be seen if these logos will mean anything more than this. As of right now, we still really seems like they'll only have as much importance as Naranja and Uva's logos, but it does seem important. So what is he talking about? Well, basically, and I'm going to make a whole video about this thing about Majin's forms and all that, but Pokemon Millennium had a really, really cool post here saying, analysis and speculation. I don't know about you, but I'm becoming more and more convinced that the Gen 10 is building towards a conflict between waves and winds, a clash between natural forces, with some kind of point of contact and or core that governs them. All of it embodied by the Generation 10 legendaries. I tried combining the 2 symbols that appear on the protagonist's uniforms and noticed a certain resemblance to the symbols found in the Japanese logo, which I already discussed in other posts. I'll leave them in the comments, but what if the circle at the center of the 6 symbols represents a sun? So he's talking about, I'm guessing, this symbol right here in the middle. And I'm guessing he's trying to combine the 2. It kind of looks more like an eye to me. Like I'm almost getting more of an unknown eye. But I guess it's trying to like make some sort of semblance or resemblance to the actual Majin logo. And we know that this is supposed to be the logo for the next gimmick. And we know this because every time a Pokemon game comes out, whenever there's a Japanese logo, they always add like the icon of the actual gimmick into the logo, as you can see right here. They always do that. And we know that this is going to be the icon or the look, right? So think about how a Megastone looks, like the shape of it. That's the same thing they're going for here. It's going to be like a similar thing. But as you can see, the shape of it does kind of look a little bit, I think like, I think it was like Hagoromo, or was it Hagoromo? Is that what it's called? I think a Hagoromo. Yeah, a Hagoromo. So basically like this like garment. So it kind of looks like a Hagoromo garment that I think like different sorts of gods in Shinto use. But also it could look, I guess you could say, a little bit like, I wouldn't say almost like a little bit like a balloon of sorts. Or if you want to go all in and say it looks like an actual, I don't know, a sun. But what he did here was to take the icons from the characters themselves. So if you guys can see the characters themselves right here, they have like these icons on their hats, and combining them similarly to like the, I guess you could say like how we had the Naranja and Uva Academy with their logos as well, which there was a bit more obvious what they were meant to represent. It's just the Naranja Academy, Uva Academy, you know, like the grapes and the oranges and all that. But here it could be something else. Again, I don't know if these combine into something of that nature, but again, them using the sunlight actually makes sense, or using it, like adding like this representing the sun wouldn't be that crazy. And then this shape representing, you know, the wind, and then this bottom shape representing the waves, right? So this looks like a wave at the bottom here, right? So wave and then wind, right? It does kind of look like that. It makes sense as well. But again, does it mean anything? Not necessarily. We kind of already know that there's going to be a sort of interaction between these, but yeah, for now, that's all I'm going to really say on the subject. I will have an entire video talking about Millennium's posts and a few other posts as well that will be posting very, very soon. But yeah, that's going to be it for this video, guys. Hopefully you did enjoy it. If you did, drop a like down below, and I'll see you all in the next one.